had on body armor, they had on two-way radios, they had on tactical gear, bulletproof vests. They were ready to go.
When you see that level of preparedness, did that surprise you? Did it scare you?
I was scared. I was absolutely scared. I'm on this platform. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'7". I'm this giant person. And we had our guns out, and I'm thinking, all these people out there, they're armed too. And I'm like, I'm gonna get shot. They're gonna take me out. I remember at one point I said, how is this gonna end? It wasn't just a mob or a bunch of thugs, you know? They were terrorists. They tried to disrupt this country's democracy. That was their goal. And you know what? Y'all failed.
Wow, that's Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn in an interview this morning on Good Morning America, telling you that these insurrectionists were ready to overthrow the government and that the Capitol Police was terrified, that they came as terrorists, they acted as terrorists, they threatened as terrorists, and they should be treated as terrorists. I mean, it's just so unbelievable. So today, Merrick Garland, who was supposed to be a Supreme Court nominee under Barack Obama, but of course, Mitch McConnell said no, I don't even want to have a hearing for him. And now that there's a hearing for him to be our Attorney General of the United States, you can see there is no reason why Merrick Garland should not have been considered for the Supreme Court. Zero reason. He is fair. He is right down the middle. He is about law and facts and not about politics or persuasions, right? And so he was asked about this Capitol insurrection and whether or not, as Attorney General of the United States, he would investigate it. And would he investigate it all the way to wherever it leads, even if it leads all the way to, I don't know, Roger Stone or Alex Jones or Donald Trump or Ali Alexander or any of the people who weren't there but organized it. You know, Alex Jones contributed $500,000, $500,000 to organize the January 6th thing. Yeah, and you now know that Roger Stone was protected by Oath Keepers, right? There's tons of video, I have some, of him standing outside the hotel that he was staying at. He spoke at the speech, whatever that thing was, the Stop the Steal rally, or what was it called? Save America rally. And he said it was a fight between good and evil, between darkness and light. And I mean, he was talking in apocalyptic terms, trying to gin up the crowd the night before. Alex Jones, same thing. They paid big money to organize this stuff, and it turns out a lot of people did. The heiress to the Publix supermarket fortune, she paid good money for this, like hundreds of thousands of dollars to organize. I mean, this is just so crazy. So Merrick Garland was asked right out the door whether or not he would, what would he do to investigate this as the Attorney General of the United States.
You received high praise for investigating and supervising the prosecution of the Oklahoma City bombing perpetrators in 1995. So here's the question. What steps will you take to ensure that the perpetrators of the attack on our Capitol are brought to justice?
Senator, I think this was the most heinous attack on the democratic processes that I've ever seen, and one that I never expected to see in my lifetime. But one of the very first things I will do is get a briefing on the progress of this investigation. I intend to give the career prosecutors who are working on this matter 24/7 all of the resources they could possibly require to do this. And at the same time, I intend to make sure that we look more broadly, to look at where this is coming from, what other groups there might be that could raise the same problem in the future, and that we protect the American people. And I know that FBI director has made the same commitment.
Okay, so he's in. He's definitely in to look at, and in fact, Sheldon Whitehouse, who just, I have such a crazy crush on him. Brett does too. He asked, will he follow the story? Will he follow the breadcrumbs wherever they lead?
With respect to January 6th, I'd like to make sure that you are willing to look upstream from the actual occupants who assaulted the building, in the same way that in a drug case, you would look upstream from the street dealers to try to find the kingpins, and that you will not rule out investigation of funders, organizers, ringleaders, or aiders and abettors who were not present in the Capitol on January 6th.
Senator,
Fair question?
Fair question. And again, your law enforcement experience is the same as mine. Investigations, I began as a line assistant U.S. attorney, and I was a supervisor. We begin with the people on the ground, and we work our way up to those who are involved and further involved. And we will pursue these leads wherever they take us. That's the job of a prosecution.
That is the job of a prosecution. And the truth is that the United States is investigating the ties between Roger Stone, Alex Jones, Ali Alexander, some of the big money funders of this Save America crap, Oath Keepers and 3%ers and Proud Boys that were protecting Roger Stone, acting as security. Now we know that this one girl, Jessica Watkins, she claimed that she had met with the Secret Service prior to the insurrection, and that her job that day was to be private security for members of the House and members of the we now know that there were 57 GOP state and local officials at this rally. I mean, this thing is huge. It's gigantic, okay? It's really, really big. And tomorrow begins the hearings on the insurrection. Tomorrow, the Senate have invited the police chiefs. They've invited the former Sergeant-at-Arms for the House, the former Sergeant-at-Arms for the Senate, and they want to get to the bottom of why the National Guard wasn't called and who stood in the way of the National Guard being deployed as soon as it was completely obvious. Who took the commander of the National Guard out of the loop and replaced the commander of the National Guard with the acting secretary of the Army, right? I mean, there's so much here that needs to be looked at and figured out. Like, why did you have to go to the Pentagon, who refused to deploy the National Guard hours after it was obvious that police were being beaten to a pulp? Obviously, the House side had been breached. The Senate side had been breached. There's a timeline that is so excruciating to read today, and it will all get discussed tomorrow at the Senate hearing. The House hearing will be on Thursday, but the Senate hearing is tomorrow. It's the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, and the chairman is Amy Klobuchar. Roy Blunt is the ranking member. I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Gary Peters of Michigan is the chairman, the Democrat from Michigan, and Rob Portman is the ranking member. Amy Klobuchar and Roy Blunt are the chairwoman and ranking member of the Rules and Administration Committee, and they invited 4 witnesses to testify. So tomorrow we'll start to hear about this timeline. I thought perhaps you'd like to know so you could follow it really, really well. Also, breaking news. The Supreme Court, in a 1-sentence decision, told Trump, turn over your freaking tax returns. Wow.